The world whispers promises of quick fixes, of effortless attraction, of magical manifestation. It paints vivid pictures of desire fulfilled, dreams realized, and fortunes amassed, all seemingly by the mere act of wishing. We are inundated with narratives that suggest a passive yearning is enough, that simply closing our eyes and hoping for the best will bend reality to our will. But look closer. Observe the trajectories of those who genuinely transform their lives, who move mountains, who build empires from mere ideas. Their ascent is rarely marked by idle hope or fleeting desires. It is forged in a crucible, far more potent, a forge often misunderstood, frequently dismissed, and tragically, almost universally underestimated. This isn't a problem of ambition, it's a crisis of conviction. This isn't a lack of dreams. It's a void in the very substance that makes dreams tangible. This is the profound, often unacknowledged truth of beyond wishful thinking, the art of intentional belief. Look around, and you will see the evidence of its absence everywhere. The brilliant ideas that wither on the vine, the ambitious plans that gather dust, the fervent prayers that dissipate into the ether, leaving behind only the bitter taste of disappointment. We live in an age where information abounds, where every conceivable method for success is readily available, yet the vast majority of humanity remains perpetually anchored, bound by chains of their own mental making, unable to bridge the gap between knowing and doing, between wanting and having. This isn't merely a character flaw, it's a systematic weakening of the inner conviction, a pervasive cultural hypnosis that prioritizes surface-level optimism over deep-seated, intentional belief. The titans who shaped our world, the Thomas Edisons who saw light where others saw darkness, the Andrew Carnegies who envisioned industrial empires from humble beginnings, the Marie Curies who held an unwavering faith in discovery amidst unimaginable challenges, did not possess a secret shortcut to success. They possessed an unyielding, almost audacious belief in the possibility of their vision, in the inevitability of their outcome. They understood intimately that the external world bends not to fleeting wishes, but to unwavering, persistent belief, supercharged by a definiteness of purpose. What you consistently hold in your mind with burning conviction and relentless certainty eventually begins to materialize in your outer reality. This is not magic, this is the law of mental equivalence, a principle as immutable as gravity itself, a force waiting for you to wield it. This journey into the core of intentional belief begins with a fundamental re-engineering of your mindset. For too long, belief has been treated as a static declaration, a passive acceptance of ideas, or a superficial layer of positivity applied to an underlying current of doubt. The mind in this state becomes a hollow vessel, easily swayed by external circumstances, viewing every challenge as a confirmation of its limitations rather than a test of its resolve. But what if you could fundamentally alter your relationship with your own convictions, not by denying the existence of obstacles, but by understanding your true nature as the architect of your own reality? This isn't a call for naive optimism or a dismissal of logical planning, but a profound recognition that the cultivation of intentional belief is an act of intellectual and spiritual liberation from the tyranny of doubt. When your mind is shackled by past failures, by perceived limitations, or by the narrow confines of what is realistic, it becomes incapable of conceiving, let alone manifesting, the audacious achievements necessary for true transformation. Imagine an artist, forever staring at a blank canvas, paralyzed by the fear of imperfection, forever striving for external validation, forever doubting their capacity to create. The masterpiece is never created. Your greatest triumph is the reality you paint with your belief, and a doubt-driven mindset is the paralysis that binds your hand. The choice is not whether challenges will arise, but how you allow yourself to be freed by their inevitability, transforming their presence into a powerful catalyst for internal fortitude. This mindset reorients your entire relationship with possibility, transforming dread of the unknown into fascination with creation and anxiety of failure into determination to construct. It allows you to approach every difficult goal, not with a sense of inadequacy, but with the quiet power of a visionary ready to commit, a master ready to sculpt, a leader ready to manifest, knowing that true greatness is born from daring to believe what others deem impossible. From this recalibrated mindset flows an unshakable belief system. The world in its cynicism often cultivates the belief that certain aspirations are inherent, immutable, or simply too large to achieve without extraordinary talent. It whispers that your efforts are futile, your dreams too grand, or your situation too unique, subtly eroding your conviction that sustained, intentional belief is even possible for you. This belief system is a psychological prison, preventing you from recognizing your inherent potential, from claiming your rightful place among the world's creators, and from truly unleashing the unique genius that resides within you. It fosters a fixed mindset where perceived difficulties in manifestation are seen as terminal condemnations rather than vital invitations to higher-level self-mastery. Consider the early struggles of Walt Disney. He faced bankruptcy, rejection, and ridicule, with many claiming his vision for animated storytelling and theme parks was absurd. He was told talking mice and magical castles were fantasies, that the world wasn't ready. Yet his belief in the power of imagination, in his characters, and in his vision for a physical, happiest place on earth remained unyielding. This belief fueled his persistence and ultimately his self-discipline. He didn't believe that initial setbacks or external doubts were proof of his inability to manifest. He saw them as tests of his conviction. If he had believed that intentional belief was only for the naturally gifted, the magic kingdom might never have been conceived. His genius wasn't in achieving immediate, pristine success. It was in his profound belief in the solvability of complex creative challenges, in the inherent value of his dream, and in his own capacity to learn from every attempt, however imperfect. This belief is not granted. It is earned by understanding that your inherent value is independent of external circumstances, that setbacks are merely catalysts for refinement, and that true growth comes from embracing the messy reality of persistent internal conviction. It's the quiet knowing that you are capable of handling whatever creative or professional puzzle life throws at you, not because you're invincible, but because you've proven to yourself, through countless imagined successes and tangible efforts, that you possess an indomitable spirit of creation. This belief becomes your internal compass, guiding you through the darkest storms of confusion, always pointing towards the tangible manifestation you are destined to achieve. This unshakable belief system, forged in the crucible of inner conviction, directly illuminates your clarity. The world, with its incessant noise and conflicting messages, thrives in the fog of indecision and ambiguity. It prefers a landscape shrouded in uncertainty, where every goal seems equally daunting and every path feels fraught with potential failure. But when you actively cultivate the practice of unwavering, intentional belief, your objectives become crystal clear. The path forward, however challenging, reveals itself with undeniable precision, for you have already walked it in your mind's eye with the light of your true intention. This isn't about having all the answers at once, but about possessing the mental fortitude to cut through the noise, to discern your true north, and to commit to a specific direction with unwavering focus, because you have already engaged the creative part of your mind in problem solving and seen the desired outcome. Think of Abraham Lincoln navigating the tempest of civil war, facing unimaginable pressures and constant opposition. The problem was fragmentation, division, the very dissolution of a nation. His external path was fraught with uncertainty, yet his clarity of purpose to preserve the Union and eventually abolish slavery never wavered. This unwavering clarity, even in the face of immense chaos and ambiguity, was underpinned by a profound focus on the solution of unity and freedom, rather than merely the problem of conflict. This clarity directly fueled his almost superhuman persistence in the face of political attacks, military setbacks, and personal tragedies. It allowed him to make monumental decisions that shaped the course of a nation. If he had been paralyzed by the need for perfect foresight, endlessly analyzing the problems without committing to the disciplined steps required for their resolution, the very fabric of America might have disintegrated. Your clarity, when corrupted by external distractions or inner doubt, becomes a blur, binding you to the illusion that every potential pitfall must be anticipated before any significant progress can be made. It strips away opportunities not by avoidance, but by paralysis, keeping your energy from the actions that will truly move you forward, trapping you in the debilitating endless loop of imagined obstacles. The truth is, the more clearly you define your intentionally believed path, the less power external distractions have to obscure your vision, leading you towards the breakthrough you deserve. This newfound clarity then amplifies your vision. A mind that does not actively cultivate and define its beliefs, that does not paint vivid mental pictures of a desired future, is a mind that shrinks its ambition, reduces its scope, and forces itself to play small. It whispers that your dreams are too grand, your aspirations too audacious, and your potential too limited. But when clarity, fueled by consistent intentional belief, cuts through the fog, your vision expands exponentially. It becomes a vivid, compelling future state, so real, so compelling, that the difficulties of the present pale in comparison. This isn't about mere wishful thinking. It's about the courageous act of defining a future so potent, so inspiring, that it pulls you forward through every obstacle, every setback, and every moment of doubt, because you have already made that magnificent achievement an inner reality. Think of Henry Ford daring to envision an automobile for the common man, not just the wealthy elite. The problem was clear. Horseless carriages were expensive, unreliable curiosities. The established industries scoffed. The financial risks were immense. Yet, his vision for accessible transportation, for a new industrial paradigm solution to the problem of individual mobility, was so powerful and so vividly held in his mind that it drove him through countless mechanical failures, financial crises, and relentless criticism. This unwavering vision, rooted in his profound belief, was the fuel for his intense self-discipline in developing the assembly line and refining his production processes. If he had been paralyzed by the inability to see the exact final product from the start, endlessly analyzing the problems of production without the disciplined pursuit of a solution, the assembly line might never have revolutionized manufacturing. Your vision for intentional belief, when shackled by the inability to internalize the consistent conviction required, becomes less about what you hope for and more about what you fear attempting. It becomes a static, untouchable ideal, incapable of bending, learning, and growing, ultimately leading to its demise. But a vividly imagined, intentionally believed future is a living, breathing entity, constantly growing, adapting, and demanding courageous action because it has already been brought to life in the most important laboratory of all, your mind. This amplified vision, born from the power to internalize and affirm your intentional belief, inevitably deepens your purpose. For many, purpose remains an abstract concept, something to be discovered through introspection or serendipitous encounters. But a mind that fails to visualize the profound impact of its intentionally held beliefs, that allows itself to be consumed by the mere mechanics of effort, is a purpose killer. It strips away the deeper why by focusing obsessively on the what, specifically what tasks to perform, what external validation to seek, what temporary discomfort to avoid. When the relentless anxiety of immediate results becomes the primary driver, the initial reason for sustained effort to build, to serve, to create, to achieve fades into the background, replaced by the suffocating weight of self-consciousness. Your something greater becomes overshadowed by the something performative. Imagine a leader whose purpose is to unite a diverse team, but who becomes so consumed by the visible dynamics of power plays and individual agendas that they are paralyzed, unable to initiate truly unifying projects. Their noble purpose is hijacked by the tyranny of tangible limitations and the daily grind of problems, rather than the intentional belief in a shared future. Similarly, your purpose in cultivating intentional belief becomes compromised when shackled by the inability to see its authentic manifestation. It drains the passion, extinguishes the fire, and transforms a sacred mission into a tedious, disheartening chore. It's the ultimate antidote to meaningful contribution, the insidious poison that slowly extinguishes your light, replacing the joy of creation with the dread of effort. Your purpose, once a beacon, becomes a dim, flickering light, almost invisible amidst the shadow of unexpressed potential. But a purpose fueled by a vividly imagined future held with intentional belief is an unquenchable flame, illuminating the path to beyond wishful thinking, the art of intentional belief. This deepened purpose, ignited by a vividly imagined future held with intentional belief, then empowers your discipline. Not the self-imposed grinding discipline born from obligation or external pressure, but the inspired, self-driven discipline born from an unwavering commitment to your clarified purpose. When your why for conscious creation is so strong that it dwarfs any what if it's too hard, what if I fail, what if I give up? When your desired future, affirmed by intentional belief, is so real in your mind's eye that it pulls you forward, the consistent incremental steps that lead to genuine breakthroughs become not a burden, but a joyful imperative. You learn to show up day in and day out, not out of fear of difficulty, but out of an unshakable dedication to your unfolding reality. Consider a writer who becomes consumed by the sheer effort of crafting sentences, seeing it only as grammar and syntax and never truly visualizing the completed manuscript, the reader's emotional response, the profound impact of the story they are bringing to life. Their potential is squandered in the pursuit of an ideal that prevents actual engagement. Similarly, when discipline is divorced from a compelling visualization of its ultimate manifestation, fueled by intentional belief, it becomes a chore, the source of profound self-flagellation rather than empowered action. You learn to avoid rather than to engage, to delay rather than to launch. This isn't about being meticulous. It's about being relentlessly self-critical, about showing up only for the illusion of safety, day in and day out, regardless of the external storm or the internal exhaustion. This is the discipline that not only ensures stagnation through potential breakthroughs, but also propels you to unparalleled depths of self-doubt and unfulfilled potential. But a discipline born from a deeply held mental image of consistent achievement, brought forth by intentional belief, is a living, breathing force, constantly adapting, constantly pushing, always propelling you toward the mastery you envision. It is the unwavering commitment to the process, day in and day out, regardless of the external storm or the internal doubt, that truly transforms aspiration into accomplishment. From this empowered discipline, fueled by vivid, purposeful visualization and unwavering intentional belief, springs decisive action, not as a hurried, reactive response, but as a calculated, fearless advance born from clarity and purpose. In the absence of a clear mental picture of an outcome achieved through intentional belief and disciplined effort, action becomes less about doing what is necessary and more about avoiding any misstep. The pressure to guarantee perfection leads to endless analysis, reanalysis, and revision, trapping you in a perpetual state of almost ready but never launched. The real world, with its deadlines and demands for progress, moves on while you are caught in the quagmire of internal critique. This is where true ingenuity shines, not by being perfect, but by being resourceful and adaptable in the face of inevitable challenges. Think of a playwright who never stages their work because they are terrified of suffering any negative reviews. Their script may be theoretically perfect, but it achieves no impact because it lacks decisive action. Their courage is squandered in the pursuit of an ideal that prevents actual engagement. Similarly, your potential for creation is stifled when chained to a lack of visualized manifestation, fueled by intentional belief. Every fear of imperfection becomes an excuse for further delay. Every setback a justification for retreating into endless analysis. This inaction isn't strategic. It's self-defeating, stagnant, and deeply ineffective, ensuring that your valuable insights and contributions remain trapped within the confines of your own unyielding apprehension. It builds a wall, not momentum, proving that conscious, purposeful action, even imperfect action, is the ultimate antidote to the paralyzing grip of a doubt-driven approach to your dreams. It is the bold decision to start, to continue, to push forward, regardless of the internal whispers or external uncertainties, that truly separates those who merely wish for mastery from those who achieve it through intentional belief. As you embody this decisive action, especially in the face of persistent fears of the unknown, a profound sense of gratitude begins to emerge. This isn't the superficial gratitude for immediate results or external praise. This is a deeper, more profound appreciation for the lessons learned through every intentional effort, for the progress made in shedding layers of doubt, for the very capacity to even attempt something so audacious as conscious creation. When you're no longer fixated on the what-ifs or the could-haves of perfect manifestation, when you actively visualize the unfolding reality of your intentionally held belief, you begin to truly acknowledge the effort expended, the courage summoned, and the small victories that have already occurred. This grateful perspective becomes a replenishing internal force, fostering joy and energy instead of bitterness and resentment. Consider the athlete who celebrates every single moment of genuine effort in their training, every small breakthrough in performance, every learning experience, rather than being solely focused on a perfectly executed competition. Their joy is derived from the journey of improvement, not just the destination of flawless victory, because they are constantly visualizing the next moment of progress, the next increment of strength, fueled by their belief in their own capability. This profound sense of gratitude becomes a powerful internal force, fostering replenishment and joy instead of bitterness and resentment. It shifts your focus from what you lacked in immediate perfection to what you have achieved in consistency, from the daunting ideal of effortless mastery to the tangible progress in your intentional creation. This perspective, cultivated by the ability to visualize the true impact of your beliefs, prevents you from finding contentment even in the midst of genuine accomplishment, transforming effort into a source of perpetual inadequacy, and robbing you of the profound appreciation for the depths of your own capacity and the preciousness of your progress itself. It's the quiet construction of inner peace, ensuring that everything you undertake, no matter how challenging, feels like a stepping stone to further understanding and greater achievement. It's the recognition that true mastery isn't just about the outcome, but about the profound appreciation for the journey of audacious, intentional belief. This profound gratitude, combined with decisive action and empowered discipline, all guided by a clear internal vision fueled by intentional belief, cultivates an incredible capacity for adaptability, a mind that does not visualize the fluid nature of creation, that clings desperately to initial plans, to specific routines, and to rigid ways of operating, will see any deviation from the safe schedule as a monumental failure. Those who are paralyzed by the fear of spontaneity, unable to pivot or improvise when unforeseen obstacles arise, are often left behind, unable to adapt to the dynamic realities of life. But those who embrace uncertainty as a call to adapt, to iterate, to reinvent their approach, are the ones who not only survive but thrive, because they can continually visualize their desired outcome, even if the path to it changes. Your very adherence to a rigid, unvisualized plan prevents you from learning the invaluable lesson that rigidity is fatal and flexibility is life. You become unable to pivot, to adjust, to find new pathways when old ones are blocked, because the safe plan has no room for unexpected detours in the pursuit of your vision. Think of an entrepreneur who launches a business with a meticulously planned strategy designed for a static market that collapses when unforeseen economic shifts occur. Their failure wasn't in their initial design, but in their inability to adapt. Their adherence to safety made them brittle. Similarly, your pursuit of intentional belief when chained to the absence of a flexible, visualized outcome becomes brittle. It teaches you that clinging to a rigid ideal is a strength, when in fact it is a profound weakness. It's the understanding that the river doesn't fight the rocks, it flows around them, finding new paths, constantly moving forward. But a mind that cannot visualize a different flow demands the river carve a straight, predictable channel, regardless of the terrain, and in doing so often prevents the flow altogether. True adaptability and intentional belief is born from a courageous engagement with uncertainty, allowing you to continually visualize the desired achievement and thus navigate the shifting currents of life's challenges, always finding a path toward your envisioned reality. From this adaptability, a truly robust resilience in intentional belief is born. Not the fragile, easily shattered fortitude that buckles under the slightest pressure of doubt, but a generative resilience that learns and grows from every misstep. A mind that fails to visualize a successful manifestation or only sees the potential for perpetual struggle and setback makes you exquisitely sensitive to criticism, to perceived failures, and to any deviation from your internal ideal of effortless perfection. When your worth is tied to guaranteed immediate results and flawless execution, any imperfection or unexpected delay feels like a devastating blow, causing your spirit to recoil, your determination to falter, and your progress to cease. You become unable to absorb the inevitable ebb and flow of creative effort and spring back stronger because every moment of friction is seen as proof of your inherent inadequacy rather than an opportunity for growth. Consider the titan of industry, Andrew Carnegie. His journey to steel magnate was riddled with economic downturns, labor disputes, and fierce competition. The problem was clear: the volatility of the industrial landscape. But beyond these external battles, he possessed an extraordinary resilience in his intentional belief, constantly adapting his strategies and pushing through adversity. If he had allowed the unvisualized permanence of setbacks to shatter his resolve, if every heated market crash or public scrutiny had led him to retreat from his belief in his grand industrial vision, his empire would never have risen. His resilience wasn't about avoiding conflict. It was about confronting it head-on, learning from financial miscalculations, and using each difficult period as a forge to temper his spirit and refine his approach because he always held the grand vision of his solution, a thriving, integrated enterprise built on unwavering conviction, firmly in his mind. Similarly, when your drive for intentional belief is fueled by a lack of internal focus on the potential for overcoming obstacles, failure in a single step isn't a temporary detour. It's a definitive condemnation, a devastating blow that sends you spiraling into self-doubt and inaction. Because you've cultivated a mindset of unattainable ideals of flawless manifestation, you become terrified of making the wrong move, knowing that every misstep provides only evidence of your imperfection rather than an opportunity to learn how to believe with greater wisdom and certainty. This brittle resilience is not about avoiding pain. It's about amplifying it, transforming minor deviations into catastrophic emotional defeats. It's the recognition that true strength in intentional belief is not the absence of struggle, but the capacity to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined with every challenging effort, a capacity utterly choked by the inability to visualize the successful, desired outcome in the face of perceived adversity. This robust resilience, forged in the crucible of sustained intentional effort, actively fuels your hunger for learning in the realm of conscious creation. When the goal is genuine mastery and lasting achievement, not just safe routine, any deviation from what is right is seen not as an error to be hidden or avoided, but as a valuable data point. You become eager for feedback on your methods, open in the face of constructive criticism regarding your consistency, and enthusiastic to explore new methodologies that might expose your current limitations in holding your convictions. The stakes of perceived failures become not a reason for paralysis, but a compelling invitation for curiosity, for experimentation with new ways of bringing your desires into being, and for the joyful pursuit of knowledge that expands your capabilities, replacing a rigid adherence to what is already known or what is perceived to be safe, because you know every lesson brings you closer to your envisioned reality. Think of a scientist who, through countless failed experiments, eventually uncovers a breakthrough. Their pursuit of knowledge actively embraces every wrong turn as a necessary step towards truth, because they hold a clear visualization of the scientific discovery, the solution. The same applies to your intentional belief. If you view every setback, every moment of doubt, every missed opportunity as a terminal failure rather than a data point for refinement, your growth in conscious creation will stagnate. Your commitment to learning is deepened when chained to the audacious pursuit of a visualized, desired outcome. You seek out new information not to validate existing methods, but to expand your understanding, to discover novel pathways to unprecedented manifestation of your beliefs. The stakes are high, so the lessons are profound and deeply integrated into your being, learned not from sterile theory, but from the raw, unfiltered reality of trial and error, all in service of that compelling inner image of your genuinely desired future. This dedication to continuous learning, when warped by a lack of clear visualization of the positive outcome of intentional belief, becomes a burden. It's not a profound joy, but an anxiety-ridden chore. The less effectively you can visualize, the less effectively you can learn, the less wisely you can act, and the less profoundly you can shape your reality. But when vivid, intentional belief propels your learning, every challenging experience becomes a classroom, every setback a masterclass, propelling you ever closer to the manifestation you envision. The ultimate crowning achievement in the journey of beyond wishful thinking, the art of intentional belief, is the profound cultivation of unwavering faith. This isn't a passive belief in an abstract concept, but an active, intelligent conviction in the eventual reality of your desired outcome, despite temporary misunderstandings or the absence of immediate external validation. A mind that fails to visualize a future where its will reigns supreme, that allows itself to be bombarded by doubts and presents every difficult circumstance as insurmountable, eventually erodes faith. It demands proof before genuine effort, certainty before commitment, and guarantees before sacrifice. But true mastery is built on the bedrock of unshakable faith in your purpose, your methods, and your own capacity to bring your intentions into being because you have already seen it, felt it, and believed it into existence within the sacred space of your own consciousness. Think of Helen Keller, born blind and deaf, facing a world that seemed to offer only limitations. Yet through an unyielding faith in her own potential and the power of consistent, disciplined effort of faith born from a powerful internal vision of connection and understanding, she defied unimaginable odds to become a world-renowned author, activist, and lecturer. Her journey was paved with immense daily challenges to her intentional belief in possibility, from learning to communicate to navigating a sighted world. But her faith in her own ability to learn and contribute was unwavering. Had she succumbed to the fear that her limitations defined her, had she focused only on the problem of her disabilities without an inner conviction of the solution of disciplined learning and communication, her profound impact on the world would have been lost. Similarly, when your pursuit of intentional belief is chained to the need for instant results or visible perfection, your faith becomes fragile. You become susceptible to every uncomfortable moment, every discouraging thought, and every lapse in conviction, leading to premature surrender of your true potential. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about discerning the unseen possibilities of intentional belief, holding fast to your visualized victory when the visible path is obscured, and trusting that persistent, intelligent action will eventually bridge the gap between your current state and your desired manifestation. This unwavering faith, fueled by consistent, vivid visualization of your desired future, directly powers your persistence. A mind that lacks this inner image of the goal achieved, that persuades you that quitting at the first sign of discomfort is a sensible retreat, eventually leads to guaranteed failure. It encourages you to abandon difficult tasks, to retreat into comfort, and to relinquish your long-term goals in favor of short-term appeasement. Genuine persistence, however, is born from an unshakable faith in your purpose and the profound understanding that every temporary rejection or setback is merely a learning opportunity, a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey towards ultimate manifestation, because you already know the end game of success. The greatest achievements often hide behind the final stretch of struggle, rewarding those who refuse to yield. Consider R.H. Macy, whose early retail ventures ended in repeated failures and bankruptcies. Yet his persistence in disciplined experimentation and refining his business model, driven by an unwavering belief in the customer-centric department store, eventually led to his success. Or Henry Ford, who faced 2 bankruptcies before his ultimate success with Ford Motor Company. Yet his unwavering persistence in the face of engineering and financial obstacles kept his teams and investors on board, fueled by his unwavering vision for accessible transportation. Their journeys were not linear paths of constant triumph, yet their persistence, fueled by an unwavering faith in their vision, a vision they held and refined constantly, focusing on the solution for their customers, and stakeholders carried them through cycles of adversity that would have crushed lesser spirits. Had they allowed the fear of continued failure, unmitigated by a powerful inner vision of successful execution, to dictate their actions, their names would be footnotes in the annals of entrepreneurial struggle, not titans of industry. Similarly, when your pursuit of intentional belief is chained to the need for constant validation or immediate gratification, you abandon your efforts at the precise moment that true breakthroughs are often imminent. You become a master of false starts, a connoisseur of almost there, proving that perseverance, even in the face of daunting odds, is the ultimate antidote to the paralyzing grip of a comfort-driven existence. It builds resilience, not resignation, ensuring that your valuable efforts eventually break through to the light, guided by the luminous beacon of your visualized manifestation. The ultimate tragedy of sacrificing unwavering faith and persistence due to a failure to engage in and visualize intentional belief is the profound loss of your future self. This isn't merely about losing potential achievements or material gains. It's about forfeiting the person you were destined to become, the wiser, more capable, more resilient, and more genuinely powerful individual shaped by the audacious pursuit of your highest aspirations. A mind that cannot see its own future, forged through intentional belief and consistent action, that allows itself to be left unchecked by internal visualization of its own fortitude, gradually erodes this future self, replacing your bold, evolving identity with a cautious, static version trapped in the comfort zone of unfulfilled potential. True mastery is not just about external accomplishment. It is about the internal wealth of character, wisdom, and strength forged through the relentless, faith-driven pursuit of bringing your deepest intentions into being, a destiny you first brought into existence through the power of your mind's eye. Consider the countless individuals who, late in life, express profound regret, not for the bold risks they took and perhaps misstepped, but for the crucial efforts they never made, the visions they never dared to believe into existence, the versions of themselves they never truly became, all due to a deep-seated fear of stepping outside their comfort zone, a fear that was never countered by a compelling inner vision of a life with powerful, unshakable, intentional belief. Their future selves, vibrant with potential for profound impact, remained unactualized, their true contribution suppressed, their ultimate fulfillment abdicated. Similarly, when you allow the absence of vivid, intentional visualization to dictate your choices, you surrender the chance to evolve into the greatest version of yourself. You become a prisoner of your current limitations, rather than the architect of an expansive future built on unwavering conviction. This isn't about recklessness. It's about reclaiming your birthright to become, to grow, and to contribute beyond your current perceived boundaries, forging a future that reflects the full, purposeful expression of your soul because you dared to believe it into reality first. Your future self, waiting to emerge, is a prize too precious to surrender to the fleeting whispers of doubt or the seductive comfort of inertia. So let this final, unyielding truth embed itself deep within your spirit. The journey of beyond wishful thinking, the art of intentional belief, culminates in the absolute mastery of unwavering faith, the relentless cultivation of persistence, and the ultimate realization of your magnificent future self. It is a declaration of independence from the limitations imposed by the fear of the unknown, a courageous leap into the boundless territory of your true potential for conscious creation. Your greatest asset isn't merely your talent or your resources, it's your unshakable faith in your capacity for intentional belief, your willingness to persist through every doubt, and your inherent ability to evolve into the powerful, resilient creator you're destined to become. It's the understanding that true success is an internal creation meticulously built on the bedrock of conviction and the unwavering pursuit of relentless consistency, even when the path is long and the uncertainties loom large. The world doesn't need more clever wishes. It desperately needs more courageous believers, more persistent architects of reality, and more faith-driven visionaries who dare to bring their intentions into being regardless of the prevailing winds of skepticism. Your destiny isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. The choice to embrace intentional belief is yours, and it's available to you unequivocally now. Go forth then, not just to wish, but to believe with unshakable faith, guided by the vivid imagery of your desired future. Let your life be a testament to the power of persistence, a living blueprint for the courageous pursuit of intentional creation. Stand tall, embrace your future self, and illuminate the path for others by daring to live a life unburdened by the weight of unfulfilled dreams. A life where belief isn't just a concept, but deeply, authentically, and courageously manifested into reality. Your transformation is complete. Your mastery awaits. The time for your unapologetically faith-driven, magnificently realized emergence is now.